Hello, everybody. Laura back again. Um, okay, I want to thank you if you're here live, and I want to thank you if you're watching in replay. I I really appreciate all of you more now than I did last week. That's a long story, and I'm not going to get into it. Anyway, as my banner is saying, I've named it the Birthday Bash. I think Amber was calling it June Jubilee, but it starts Sunday, May 29th. 7 to 8 p.m. That'll be Laura and Amber. We are doing Good Afternoon, Dragon Bee. We are doing questions on June 12th. I've got the first two weekends, May 29th and June 5th, I believe. Hi, Colleen. Hi, Keith. So glad it's PM. Yes, that's true. Excuse me. Being that my birthday is June 4th, so I have the first two Sundays, and Amber has the last two Sundays. So we decided to do our question and answer on June 12th, which is the Sunday that actually doesn't belong to either one of us. Okay, Keith, I don't think any of my moderators are on to do that for me, so give me a second. I understand that, Colleen. Did I make you a moderator, Colleen? I can't remember. Give me a second, everybody. I got to get into YouTube and find. And my kitty's decided to join me. I got to find the live. We are in the middle of, here it is. Well, the middle of is, yeah. Hi, baby girl. Yep, there she is. Okay. All right, Colleen, you should have your blue dress now. June 4th is your daughter's birthday. Aw, I'm going to be 57. And Colleen, you should have a blue dress the next time you comment because I added you. Okay. So yes, my kitty is in my lap. Well, not quite yet. She wants my lap, which means I got to move the crocheting I was working on and put my leg down so she can lay in the middle. There you go. There you go. Come on. There you go. And you just turned 60. Wow, that's awesome. Here's what I've been working on. I think last time I showed it, it was like real short. And there it is now. And she's going to keep rubbing on it because she thinks that's what it's there for her to rub on. There, get my crochet hook out of there. Thank you, Colleen. Keith Lewis, I now have a moderator on, and she's going to do her best to find you and drop your link. Okay. Thank you for the comment. Keith says beautiful. Okay. Let's see. Oh yes, get your questions to Amber and I by June 10th so we can pick the ones that we will answer on June 12th on the June 12th Sunday live. Oh, now she's licking my fingers. Hi, baby girl. Why didn't you stay in your warm cat glue, huh? One of those covered cat beds is about the only one she'll sleep in. But it's cold enough in my house that she's been sleeping in it to stay warm, haven't you? Mm-hmm. Yes, you. I forgot to pause, not pause, but silence my phone. There we go. Now I don't have to worry about that interruption. Just kitty tails in my face. Kitty tails in my face. Kitty tails in my face. Oh, my baby girl. Okay, let's see. So it looks like we have Dragon B, Keith Lewis, and Grammy Colleen. Okay. Well, awesome. Thanks for being here. You have the AC going. I don't even know what the outside temperature is. I haven't even bothered to look. Yes, my hand moved, didn't it, Kitty? And it's moving again. I just think it's looks like 64 around here. And it's supposed to be raining this evening. Wonderful. Okay, I have a couple of other things that I wanted to thank you, Colleen, for getting that posted. Let's see. Oh, okay. So I went looking through my mom's old magazines. So I'm gonna I'm gonna make that video my first video for that series. I'm not sure what I'm calling it yet, so I can't tell you what the playlist will be. But look for that. I don't know how long it's gonna take me to get it done. Depends on what I decide I'm talking about. I'm going to try not to make anything too long. It's one of the reasons why I keep my lives short too. I don't want anything to be so long that nobody wants to watch it. I don't mind being on a 3-hour live and chat, but doing a 3-hour live, I've already got a sore throat and I've barely gotten started. Of course, I think I'm getting a cold, and my baby girl in my face is not helping. So anyway, I'm going to get started on that series. I don't know if I'll get it posted this week or not, though. Yeah, and Dragon B has her AC on. So yeah, just depends on where we are. I know. Okay, so something else I wanted to show, but I can't because cat's in the way. Come here, Venus. Come here, Venus. Okay, this is the picture of the scarf I'm planning to make. And I have 3 balls of this, which I'm hoping will be big enough to make a long enough scarf, because it is very, very small. I'm thinking it might be a very small 3. I don't know. It could be even a 2. It's really small. It's a peachy color. There's no number. Oh, they call it princess. I got I got this. It's made in China. It's bamboo. It's called Snug as a Bug in a Rug. It's kind of hard to see. Snug as a bug in a rug. I can't get it to lay flat either. There we go. That's better. It's called Princess. The style of it is caterpillar. It's just what, probably 6 or 8 piece strands of thread wound together. And I think I bought this, oh, I don't know, 2012, maybe 13 or 14. Anyway, it's been sitting around for a while, and I finally found a pattern that I like, that I think will work. Like I said, hopefully I have enough because I only have 3 balls of this. Doesn't give me any measurements or anything. Doesn't give me any size, so I might end up using the crochet hook they mention in this pattern is like an E, I believe. Yeah. So Kitty wants to be the star. She is the star. She knows it too. She is the star. And she just wants to be a part of things, don't you, babe? And I left the door slightly open so you can get. in and out. And if you're going to hiss at me, you can get off my table. Okay, so I've talked about the, oh, 4 things. 5th thing, I knew there was something else I wanted to talk about today. I've been working on my granny squares. I started this blanket in 1997, and after I found out I was pregnant with my second kid. And it's funny because I went through and counted the squares back in the end of January. And when I counted them again last night, I have the same number, which doesn't make sense because I know I have made more squares, a few only, but it shouldn't be the same number. So anyway, I'm probably going to have to recount again. That lace would work. It would be beautiful. That's what I was thinking too. You hit the jackpot and found someone selling over $300 of yarn for $50. That is awesome. Bossy Venus. That's a good one, Colleen. Oh, bumped my microphone. Sorry, everybody. So I have a few of those squares that I can show you. I don't remember what I've shown before. I know I've showed some in my video when I was showing my after I'd found it. But here's one I made the other day. Just trying to add more color to it. Same one. Let's see, this one is already finished, so it shouldn't even be in that pile. Here's another one I did the other day. And I think this one was already done. So it's going to be solid, variegated, or in this case, variegated, solid, variegated, in patches. That's not the word I meant. In boxes of 9. I mean, 9 of these in a box, although they'll all have black on them. See, there's one that has the black on it already. Just a plain, well, it's not plain. By no means is it plain because it's purple, but just a nice purple, solid purple. That's the word I was looking for. So all of these will have black around them. And then they'll go, here we go. Solid, variegated, solid. So that's what I'm working on along with the moss stitch blanket. This one that I just showed you, which will have blue all the way through it as one color. It'll have many, many different shades, but it'll have blue all the way through it as the main color. And then the other 2 colors will change as I go through my as I go through my balls of unused yarn, including some of what's in the bag with these. So neither one of these is going to get done very soon. Means I might actually get back to one of the other blankets I've got going. Colleen, I sent you an email. I love variegated yarn too. But I have learned over time that not all variegateds look good together. But I know most of you have seen this. Here is my moss rectangle. Mostly done with pinks and purples. But there's some black and gray and white and green. More green towards the middle. More towards the middle. Here we go. The middle. There we go. There's the middle. So I just have to finish sewing in all the ends on that one, but it gets on my lap right now because it's too cool in my room. Thank you. Gotta love the never-ending whip. No kidding. Temperature Afghan from stuck in September of 2020. Yes, kitties are queens. You're right. Yes, yes. Okay. So I think I've covered everything I wanted to talk about. So now it's up to you guys. If you've got anything you want to talk about? Everybody knows my favorite color, purple. My favorite stuffed animal, unicorn. Here's my little guy here. Oh, oh, oh. Here we go. His eyes are purple. He's got purple around his eyes. Actually, I guess they're multicolored. Like his feet are multicolored. I didn't even notice his eyes were multicolored. Didn't look very good at that guy, did I? And he just hides in the corner in front of the speaker, in front of my stereo. Which reminds me. I have to find my... I was unhooked. I had come unplugged. Okay, so that'll change that, and that should make things go even smoother. I can't think of anything else. My husband bought me a new ring light. This one has 3 different shades. So I've got it on the orangest, the more orange. It's actually more of a pinkish orange, more of a peach color, but it helps my skin not look so washed out from the computer. Because that computer light is pure white coming at me. And so this helps. But that was for Mother's Day. Hello, Dreeny. Glad to see you. I don't know. What do you think I should name my old magazine? Because I'm going to do videos of my mom's old magazines. What do you think I should name it? There's a question for you. Think about that. Look who I've got in the basement. Hello, Colleen.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay, trying to get this. My son lent me his iPad, and I have not figured it out yet. So, let me scoot this way and... How are you?
There you are.
That's kind of...
And I still look very, very washed out.
Oh, let's see. My wind spinner was in the way, but that's okay. How are you doing?
Pretty good.
Good.
Pretty good. I just
Did I show you my donuts?
I saw that you sent me a picture. Yes. And I said, oh, goody, donuts I could eat.
Yeah, I remember now. That's funny.
Excuse me. Yeah.
It's supposed to be warm here in May, and it's right around 60. But it's real humid, and it's supposed to be dry. So it's...
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy with my voice.
Yeah, we had a very, very, very warm winter, and I was like, just wait, you guys, we're going to have rain all spring. Nope. And then we hit 90 at the beginning of May, and we're like, okay, we're going to turn the heater off. And now I'm sitting here freezing because it's in the 60s again.
Oh, wow. Yep. I feel the same way. It makes me flare. So it's like, come on, make up your mind one way or another.
Yes. Yes. I have enough problems, as you know, with my fingers and toes. And yeah, for what, 4 days now, I had 3 days when my feet were really, really, really cold. And I'm like, you guys, we've got to figure out how to warm up my feet because 3 days is bad. And we did get them a little bit warmed up. And then the next day they were cold, but not as cold as they had been for 3 days. I can't
That's when I do my fuzzy slipper socks. And
I wear them almost constantly.
Yeah.
Almost constantly. If I'm not wearing fuzzy slipper socks, I'm wearing wool socks with my tennis shoes. Because my slippers wore out, so I had to throw them away. So I can only wear the other slippers I have with my fuzzy warm socks because they're so big and thick. They fill up all the space that my foot doesn't fill up.
Well, that should help them stay warmer with that little extra
You
room.
would think. You would think.
Yeah.
No, I just, yeah. And Drini made it here. I don't know if she's still in here though.
Hi, Drini. I can't see the chat. So
yeah, you'd have to be watching on two different things.
Yeah.
Well, there is a way to do it when you're on your phone, but it makes it really hard to see see the screen, the picture, the video, something like that. Because you can hit when you're on your phone. You can, at least on my phone anyway, because I'm an Android. I have an Android. I can hit the button that says comments, and it takes the picture into the background, and then it puts the comments over top. It makes it hard to read the comments too, but. Two pairs of socks all year, even when it's hot. Yeah. Yeah, because last year I was wearing my, what are those things called? Support socks. Only I got some cotton ones. And I was having to put a second pair of socks over them. Wow. Even during the summer.
Goodness. And that's a feeling too, you know, that you just kind of, it hurts to have cold feet.
The ironic thing is it hurts to have overly warm feet too.
Yes,
that's just true. When they're cold, it feels like I'm walking on broken glass.
Yeah.
When they're warm, it just sort of hurts in there. It doesn't feel like I'm walking on broken glass. When my foot's so cold that it's,
that's
cracking.
Terrible.
So, yeah.
Well, I'll pray for circulation or whatever needs to be better.
I know it. And they told me my circulation was fine 2 years ago. And now it's like, I'm like, well, it wasn't fine within 3 months of that, but whatever. And I got to make a doctor's appointment too. I keep forgetting. I'm supposed to do that yesterday. I forgot to do it. Hi, Lulu.
Hi, Cindy.
Thank you. All I saw was Lulu, so first thing out of my mouth.
I was so lucky and won one of her giveaways. So, of course, I've emailed and talked a little more. So,
yep, good. Yeah, I know I've got it written down somewhere, but which notebook in which room?
Right.
Just dropped in to say hello. Well, thank you for dropping in, Cindy. It's always good to see you.
She's so sweet.
Yeah, she is. I've never even emailed with her, but yeah.
Just her energy, you can tell.
Yep. Just from being in a chat with her.
Love this community. Yeah.
So much pain in my feet that I got frostbite wearing sandals with no socks in December. Ouch. And I thought I was dealing with frostbite a few years ago. And it turned out it was the effects of the high blood sugar, because I didn't know. I was ignoring signs. It was me. I did it. I was ignoring signs of diabetes.
I hear ya.
Love to see you both too. Huge hugs. Thank you, Cindy.
Hugs back to you. I can't see the comments. So.
Yes, we both send you hugs too, Cindy.
Or throw yarn in her window or something, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm totally involved with that. No, that's not the word I'm trying to use. I totally get and understand, and I have no problem with people sharing their links in my comments. I know YouTube might drop you out, knock you off, whatever.
Oh yeah.
Because that's happened to me a couple of times because I didn't know I couldn't. Anyway, CC or drop, and if my moderators are in here with me, they'll do it for me, and that way we can keep moving forward. I hope, except when I can't think.
It seems to happen to me anytime the camera's on me. It's like, where did my words go?
I had to write down the one thing I knew I had to mention. then that's the questions. Get the questions into Amber and I by June 10th by email. My email is right here on the banner going by, laurasyarntalk@gmail.com. And Amber's is fosteringcrochet@gmail.com. I should have added it, but I didn't think about that.
What kind of questions? Any or?
Pretty much anything. You can ask, as we've been saying, you can ask anything. We may not answer it though.
Right.
Just depends. Make sure to come see my new video I'm uploading right now. Hope you love it. All right. Somebody else I got to go watch now today. Excuse me. Hopefully this gets better by Sunday and not worse.
Oh, I hope it's better.
Oh, I can feel the scratchy and I don't like that.
Oh, no.
And she says hi to everyone in the chat. Oh, yeah.
Joann's had an OGO sale. They were like $1.47 for the red heart ones.
Oh my goodness. I think I remember you mentioning that. Well, if I'd seen any that low, I would have bought them too, but
I know. I was like, honey, I know it's right before my birthday, so this is for my birthday. He's like, okay, that works.
Yep.
So I bought my own presents this year.
Yeah, I know it. I know it. I've been looking at, that's what I meant to say. I've been looking at this set of crochet hooks on Amazon, and I've been wanting to get them, because I want to do a comparison. That's not the right word either. Okay.
Review?
Yes, thank you. I want to do a review. I want to compare them for a review. That's what I was thinking. Okay. But I just haven't had the money. And so I told my husband, I'm like, I really want these for my birthday.
It's hard to say no to that.
And I told him, I said, I also want this bookshelf because I got this corner over here that I need to fix. It's not working for me the way it is. I need the TV up a little bit higher because right now I'm looking down at the TV. So I've got the crochet in my hands and I'm looking down at the TV.
Oh, so your neck.
Exactly. And then I go to the chiropractor and I'm like, oh, fix my neck. My head's on wrong. And then
hopefully he doesn't watch your channel.
He fixes. I've told them, like, so you know, if they do, they do. And it doesn't matter to me. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. Yeah, I can't remember what I was going to say. Anyway, and I go and he pops it and he's like, "Yep, that was pretty bad." And I'm like, "I knew it was off."
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I got this corner I want to fix up. So I told my husband, I'm like, I want this certain set of shelves. They're cubes, like the ones behind me.
Right.
I guess you can only see these up here. Whoop, they're right. Okay. But I'm actually, I want some more wood ones so that it can hold the TV and not VCR. It's the other thing, the DVD player.
Yeah, you have to be careful with the cubes, huh? Make sure they can hold the TVs and whatnot.
Yeah. So the plastic metal ones, they're great. They work beautifully to sit on top of the wood one, but I want another wood one so that the TV is up and I don't have to worry about it falling over.
Your neck will feel better.
My neck will feel better. I might even put a pillow in my lap to bring my hands up higher.
There you go.
Somebody told me that's what I needed to do. But it doesn't work when I'm in my recliner, though. You ordered the Hobie Cotton Kings for your birthday. That's awesome. I want to get there. I want to get there. I want to get there.
I've never had an order from Hobie.
I haven't done any of those. Ice or Hobium or Hobie. Or I want to order from Daniel and he's not even here today.
Yeah.
I want to order from Daniel. I want to get two hanks of purple, but the cost per and then the shipping overseas, I'm just like, So, I mean, maybe someday I'll actually be able to order something from Angela in Canada. It's a little less expensive to get it from Canada than it is to get it from England. I'm sorry, Daniel, if you watch this, because it's
Maybe
just
shipping will become
that's
just
all I can hope for too, is that it
miraculously.
start to come back down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
because
crazy.
it is. It is. I have to go out after this and mail my daughter the blanket I finished for her.
Oh.
She was like, "You're right. This is too big to fit in my suitcase." I'm like, "I told you it was." She says, "But I don't think it's 30 pounds either." And I'm like, "Well, she might be right. It may just feel heavier to me because my hands are so screwed up." Yeah, not
It'll
as
be
bad as my
plenty
feet, but
heavy to mail, I'm sure.
huh?
It'll be plenty heavy to mail, I'm
Oh,
sure.
yes. Oh boy.
I
Luckily,
made
it's
some
only got to
stuff.
go a few states over.
Yeah, I made some stuff for my nieces and nephews, my great nieces and nephews in Texas. And it was more to ship to them than it was to make and buy little goodies for them. I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah, I know it. I know it.
Because I could totally send them stuff constantly, you know, if I could afford the shipping.
Yeah. Tell
Because
me
they're at
about it.
those ages.
Yep.
But,
Yep.
oh, well, they can get them when they visit.
Yeah, I
And then I'll have to
understand.
end up shipping it to them like you're doing the blanket.
Exactly. I'm like, I don't think this is gonna fit in your suitcase. I don't, you're gonna have to bring a whole extra suitcase for it. She's like, "Oh no, I can pack really good." And I'm like, this thing's bigger than you think it is. I mean, I did try to make it to extra to fit a king size bed so that
Right.
at least it would sit to the edge of the bed. I'm hoping. I
Oh, it's
never
gorgeous.
remeasured it, so I don't know.
I bet it will. It's gorgeous.
Well, the knitting in the middle, knitting stretches more than crochet does. So that knitting in the middle, that actually stretches out really well. But with all the crochet, I mean, that crochet is like 10 inches around the outside now by the time I finished.
Right.
Because I wanted to make sure that with it being the moss stitch, I wanted to have that last row the same color as the previous row so that it looked like an ending rather than you could just keep continuing. I wanted it to look like an edge.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense. Well,
so
it
I ended
turned
up
out
going almost.
beautifully.
That's gorgeous. I love the pictures. I mean, I use them all the time for my, I guess they're thumbnails, I guess they're called.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the videos. So yeah, that blanket will live for a long time, at least for me.
Yeah. That's awesome. Hopefully it'll get handed down.
Well, hopefully, because
Be around.
she's my only hope for a grandkid. So
Yeah.
yeah.
She's got to do some more medical stuff first, huh? Get a little slower at that. And then, you know what I mean? Because at first, don't they do a whole bunch of hospital work and stuff?
She is a psychology, a doctor of psychology. No, excuse me. She's a doctor of, she got her doctorate in philosophy. Okay. They gave her a doctorate of philosophy, but it's actually psychology in human factors. She's not a counselor.
Oh.
But she does work for a hospital system. So she is having to, it was so funny when she was telling the story about watching I think it was a knee replacement, because that's never been her thing. Never.
Oh, wow.
And to hear her talking about having to watch this, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. I mean, I'm so proud of her. I am so proud of her anyway, but I have the degree in biology with a minor in chemistry. My husband's got a degree in computer something from the business school, the school we went to. And now she's got, not only her BA in psychology, but master's and a PhD, so I was just,
how can you not be proud?
I know.
Yeah.
Wrong side. My strings keep showing. Oh, bleh.
My tank top does, but that's okay.
I want to build, I've got to figure out how to do it. I think I'll probably go watch some bod tutorials.
There you go.
Because I can follow her very, very well. And the sweater is still in timeout because every time I pick it up, I can't figure out what it is about that one particular row that I mess up every single time. I hit that. It's the fourth row every single time.
Wow.
And like,
So it's in timeout. That's a good
so it's in
place for
timeout.
those.
I mean, I've had so much fun with it, but
Yeah.
it just got so frustrating because I would have the same problem on that fourth row and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? So I put it in timeout for a while. I'll get back to it later.
You'll look at it with new eyes and figure it
And
out.
maybe I'll have learned something by then. It'll help me see what I've been doing incorrectly. Because, I would start the row and I'm like, no, it's not right. And take it out and start it again. No, it's still not right. Take it out, start it again. And then finally I would hit on it and I'd be able to go around and do the next one. And and then I get to that same row again and screw up. Like, how come I can't remember what I just did? Of course, it was days between, so
Right.
that's why.
Sometimes I can tell the difference in late night crocheting and like when I get up and have my coffee and crochet, I'm like, what the heck was I doing before I went to bed?
I know. That's one of the reasons why I've got to have at least one simple project, something that I can do no matter how I'm feeling during the day, no matter how tired I am, no matter how awake I am. And I've fallen in love with the moss stitch. So, I'm on my third thing with moss stitch now.
That's awesome. That's a good stitch to fall in love with.
Yeah, it's just, I really wanted to get into this other one. I can't remember what it was called, but it was the same idea, but it's done with double crochet. Oh, I have it around here somewhere. I just don't remember where at the moment. Um, but the yarn wasn't working with the stitch. And Cindy says she's lurking now. Thank you for lurking, Cindy.
It's always nice to have lurkers. I do that all the time when I'm cleaning.
I know it.
Whatever, just leave it running.
Yep.
Listen.
Yep. I don't know, but somehow I think I was using too big of a hook because it's a chain spun yarn, acrylic yarn.
So it wasn't showing your stitches, right?
When you pull on it and it gets really thin,
Oh, like the thick and thin
regular
roving
acrylic.
or something?
No, because it's chain spun. And so you pull on that chain and it gets really thin. So here I am trying to do it with this big hook and I'm like, oh, I'm leaving huge, giant, oversized holes in the stitches. And I'm like, this doesn't look right. What am I doing wrong? So Cheryl, who I haven't seen yet today, she helps me with this kind of thing. She and I agreed I needed to go down hook size. And I'm like, yeah, I got to pull it out because this doesn't even look right. It doesn't look anything like the stitch that I was trying to follow, but somebody, I don't even remember who posted it now, but I'll have to find that again.
Yeah.
when I pull it out and start over. But yeah, so that would just frustrated me. So I hadn't even pulled that out. And then I was trying to do the chevron.
Oh, the ripple. Yeah, the chevron.
Yeah, ripple. That's the other name. With the moss stitch. And I got it, and I was a stitch short at the end, and I'm like, I know I counted it. I know I counted my chain. How is my stitch short? So I just added a stitch. I'm like, fine, I'll add another stitch to the end. I had a long enough tail, no problem.
Right.
And then I started to do the first row with the moss stitch, and the ups and the downs, the decreases and increases, and it wasn't working. It wasn't working. I'm like, I don't know what's going on here.
I used to do ripples all the time. And this summer, they just decrease as I go. And I'm like, I'm missing stitches, darn it. I don't know what it is this year. I have all black blanket for Cody is in the bag. And it's like, I'll work on that later when I can just figure out what the heck I'm doing. Because it's something simple. I used to do them just as my blanket I made, for everyone. But it's decreasing.
Well, the very first one I ever made was a ripple, and it was the granny. It was the granny stitch ripple.
Yeah.
And of course, I started out way bigger at the bottom and got tighter and tighter because, it took me like 4 years to get it done.
Yeah.
Because I was in college. Yeah, 4 or 5, something like that. And Yeah, I never even wove the ends in. It's sitting in a laundry bag because it needs to be washed so bad. And I never even wove the ends in. And it just looks terrible because it started out big and then it goes tighter. And it's just
Yeah.
because I got tighter and tighter with
Yeah.
my stitches, with my
You
crocheting. And
Mine I'm dropping, and it's that
yeah.
ripple granny for some reason.
And
I just this summer.
I don't know. I can't explain it. I mean, I'm having the same problem with moss stitch ripple. I'm like, no, this isn't working. So I pull it out. And then I counted things and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go back to the beginning. And then I counted my chain again to make sure my chain was right. And I mean, I had stitch markers all the way down,
Yeah,
but
I did the same
I
thing.
counted every single one to make sure that I had my count right. Cause I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And I did it again and it still wasn't working. I got all the way across the chain and I had like 4 or 5 stitches left and I hadn't even done the last upturn yet. And I didn't have enough stitches to finish the upturn. I was just finally like, okay, after 3 or 4 tries, I'm like, I'm done with this one for now. This yarn does not want to be this pattern. That's all there is to it.
Maybe that's it. Maybe all black doesn't want to be a ripple because you're not going to see it.
That's true, huh? Hi, Ray. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, I was finally like, I'm fed up with this. I need something simple. I thought this would be simple enough that I'd be able to, I'm like, I've done this before, no problem. And for whatever this time, it was not my stitching. It was not my tension. It was something else and it wasn't working. I said, I'm done. I decided to go with this one. And look how cool it is.
It is. I love that. I just love it.
And I came up with little rules like I did with my the Ravelry pattern for my daughter's blanket, simple combo blanket. Right. I just came up with some rules that would keep me from having too much of one color in a section. So I'm not supposed to go more than 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oop, get it in the camera. There we go. Of any color, unless it's at the end of a previous color.
Right.
Okay. So like in some cases I've got a third of it is the end of one purple and the start of the next. So that row doesn't count as one row for either of the purples. Right. Because I'm just trying to use up my scraps. So that's how that rule goes. So most of them have come out really good. Color changes and yeah, I'm enjoying it very much.
It's beautiful.
I can't believe how far I've gotten on it already.
It just makes a difference. If
it does.
Yarn cooperates and everything works good. So enjoyable.
Thank you, Ray. She says that's pretty.
It is. It's gorgeous. I love the way it looks.
I'm having a great time with it. I think it shows. I mean, yeah. I really do. I think it shows. When we're enjoying what we're making, and that's what Ursula says too.
I'm trying to find joy with the all black blanket because I know he's gonna know that I did not want to make that. So I'm trying to come to a way to be, full of joy.
Okay with it. Yeah, exactly. And something else I've learned when I was doing prayer shawls is to remember to stay prayerful, especially if it's something that stay in that meditative prayerful mode while you're doing something that, especially if you don't like the color or you don't like the texture or for whatever reason you can't seem to make the pattern work. And that's that has a lot to do with the feelings that are imbibed into what you're creating.
So yeah, absolutely.
It really does. So Dragon Bee says, I used to do ripple all the time too, but since I have been off work, I've learned so much on YouTube. And that really does make a difference. It really does. I mean, if we'd had YouTube in the 90s,
oh geez,
when I started my granny square blanket, it would have been done. But
yeah, it's like
even with the little kids, I would have been done because I would have spent more time with it.
Right. And you learn a new stitch from someone. And then I don't know about you, but my mind just starts filling in with, this could be a shirt. This could be that. This
Exactly.
could be this.
Exactly. Don't I know it? But like I said, I'm falling in love with the moss stitch. So I've got to have moss stitch on something that I'm working on. Other things don't, not everything has to be, but at least one does right now.
That's awesome.
I have another whole set of yarn, mostly variegated, set aside to do another rectangle, like the one I just showed a few minutes ago, the mostly purple one.
Right.
Yeah, with the rectangle in the middle. I've got a bunch more set aside. I want to do more blues and greens, but I still have lots of other little balls of stuff set aside to go in that one. So I have at least one more after this one. Gotta keep doing my moss stitch. I don't know who they're all going to though, but that's okay. I'm trying to use up my yarn.
You use up your yarn and they'll get homes. Even if you end up donating some, you know.
That's right. So she said, Ray says, no, I'm so glad social media wasn't around like it is today. I would have been in so much more trouble. Yeah, that's true. I get that one, Ray. I get that one. And you know, everything has its place and its time. And so there's that too. We all grow at different rates. We all do things at different rates, you know. And so I had to put that time aside for my kids. They were little. I had to spend time with them. I didn't want to put them in daycare. I had worked in daycare, so I didn't want to do that to my kids.
Yep.
And my husband and I agreed that that's what we would do. And yes, it was hard because money was tight. But honestly, I mean, I even have a degree, but honestly, if I'd tried to go out and get a job that would have, I mean, I'd been out of school for, let's see, I graduated from college in 87 and I had my daughter in 94. So I'd already been out of college that long. Then you add the other years after that while the kids were still small.
Right.
So it had definitely been more than 10, probably 15 years by the time I would have gone and gotten a job. So not having ever gotten a job with my biology degree, I probably wouldn't have been able to get much of a job that would have paid for more than daycare.
Right.
So at that point, because he and I talked about it. We talked about it. We lived in Washington back then. And, you know, we were like, okay, well, we had 2 cars. Yeah. But if 2 cars are getting driven all the time to go to work and the kids would have to go to daycare of some kind, even though they were in elementary school, they still would have had to go to daycare.
Yep. Before and after.
Before and after. Exactly. And right there, that would have been most of my income.
That's my husband and I ended up working 2 shifts, different shifts, which was really hard. It was my second set of kids. And everything triggered with those later pregnancies, my health and all that.
Right.
Kaiba has to say hi. But this is our grand pup that can't stay at their apartment. And so he's here now. Okay, Kaiba, sit. But yeah, so he worked nights and I worked days, and then I got sick and it was like, can't do it. It's more important to be home with the kids. I'm just working for daycare. It's not worth it. And then I wasn't feeling good on top of it. So the time that I was getting with the kids was just terrible because I felt horrible.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I didn't start having migraines until I was working in daycare. So then I managed to somehow get them to go away for a while, and then they came back, and my daughter was about, she was almost a year old. I started getting migraines again, and it's come and gone and come and gone and come and gone.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've been able to get them to stay away for like 7 years now.
That's awesome.
Approximately, yeah. So, I mean, I still get headaches and they still hurt because I'm just one of those people that has bad headaches anyway, but they're not migraines because I can tell the difference.
When I used to get migraines, I had to go into a dark room, no noise, and like sometimes days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went and got a job. I I've worked twice since we moved here into Iowa. And by the time I had to quit that job, I'd only been there a year and a half. I had worked my way up almost to the top of my team. It was phone work.
Yeah.
And the only thing is I couldn't quite get over that little barrier that they had. You know, you can make up to this much, and then you can make this much more if you can jump over this barrier. I couldn't seem to jump over that barrier. So I couldn't make that little bit extra. By this time they were both in high school, so that, you know, no big deal there for the most part, except neither one of them knew how to drive. So
Yeah.
I had 2 cars by then, but my car couldn't be driven out of town, and I had a 20-minute drive to the next town up.
Oh, for work. Wow.
To work. So my husband worked here in town, so he had to get the crappier car, my car, because that way if it died, at least he could get home.
The things we do.
But then towards the end, I started getting about the last 2.5 months I was there, I started getting migraines again, and they weren't just a couple in a month. I'm talking, I was up to 15 days, at least a month, with migraines.
Oh, wow.
Half a month dealing with migraines and the upset stomach that went along with it. Because
that's awful. Ugh.
And then I'm on the phone, and I'm like, got my finger on the pause button just in case. I get the trash can between my legs, literally. Yeah. That's how I spent the last 4 weeks I worked there. I was just like, okay.
I've done that at work before, Laura. It's so terrible.
It's just, I'm like, nope, this cannot continue.
I didn't have the headache, but I had, you know, the nauseousness and stuff. But yeah, I can't. What a heavy burden. Ugh.
Yeah, headphones on my head and having to listen to people and focus on that and type and feel like I'm going to throw up all at the same time. I was like, no, this can't continue. I quit.
Yeah.
I took all my PTO off because I had to get past the headache. You know, I had to get that migraine over with. I had to, and before I could go back in. So I was like, I'm taking all my PTO. I will be back on this day, which is my last day. Just worked out that way. And I walk in, and the director, not director, whatever his position was, my team lead, that's what it was. He's like, I didn't think we'd see you. I thought you'd just take it with no pay. And I'm like, I said I would be here.
Right.
And I'm like, my headache is gone finally. It took 4.5 days to make that headache go away.
Just let me work my day. I'm here.
I'm here. I'm okay. Let me work, and then I'm done. So my last paycheck was a full paycheck.
That's good.
Let's see. What did I miss here? Dragon Bee. I use dishcloths as my learner projects, practice and make something useful too. Yes, I get that. I did that with knitting, along with the main thing I did when I first started knitting was shawls. I did prayer shawls. I did almost every single one in the book. She also says, my oldest is autistic, and when I became pregnant with the second one, I decided to run a home daycare. I tried to do that too. Didn't work. But anyway.
I tried to too. But I have 3 with autism, high functioning.
Oh my.
But the second, third, and fourth are the ones with the autism. So it was like other kids with all of that. It didn't work.
Yeah.
It just didn't work.
I charged so very little, but it allowed me to be at home. That's very true. I get that. And then Ray says, hiya, puppy. Oh, talking to your doggy.
Oh.
Right. I was like, what? Oh, yes. Okay. And then Dragon Bee says, I loved having the house full of kids. I wouldn't have been able to handle that. I could barely handle my own 2 kids. Lisa the Grammy Scattered says, I've been listening while cooking. Thank you, Lisa. Glad you're here. And then Ray said, okay, thanks for the break.
Lisa, she cooks a lot.
She does.
Cook from
thanks
scratch.
For the break. Back to the never-ending story, dishes and laundry. Get it done, Ray. Get it done. Doing a Linda. And then Lisa says, the sick headache, migraine. That's what I get. Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
Yuck.
Totally. Okay. Well, it's
Thank
been
you
great.
For having me.
Oh, I figured, you know, you and I would probably be okay, like Amber and I are. bouncing off each other, keeping me going. And you did, because it's 3:25 and I need to go to the post office and mail that box to my daughter.
All righty. Well, thank you. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Goodbye, Colleen. Thanks for coming up. Okay. Thank you all for being here, whether you watched in the replay or watched live. Love all of you. Don't forget that. Please be safe. Bye-bye.